Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about Ron Rivera and why sometimes he's just extremely frustrating. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 9,000 subscribers. Also hit that like button, it really does help out the channel a ton. Let's get right into it. Ron Rivera has done a lot of good things since he's gotten here. You know, he helped change the culture. You know, it's improved a lot since he got here, and the amount of things that he had to go through personally and the organization had to go through, and things that happened before, like, you know, he got here that came up when he was here, like the allegations against Snyder, the workplace stuff, just terrible stuff that he had no control over, that he had to go through. He's still going through. Every couple weeks there's like a new allegation for Snyder that Rivera has to talk about, and it sucks for him, but he's, you know, done a good job, I think, you know, helping change the culture. But there's been some things that I've been really frustrated about with, you know, Ron Rivera. So I want you guys to comment down below, what is, you know, your biggest frustration with Ron Rivera. So mine is kind of like, a lot of people I think are going to say him, you know, just signing Carolina Panthers players. And I think that is definitely a frustration. And also, like, when the good Carolina Panthers players come, you know, available, he doesn't sign them. Like James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, guys like that, he doesn't sign them. But, you know, all the practice squad to, you know, depth guys, he does. Another thing is he's just not aggressive. You know, a lot of the big name players he doesn't want to sign. A lot of the positions of need he doesn't want to sign. It was so obvious this offseason that the depth on the entire defense, besides maybe safety, was terrible. He didn't do anything to address it. And yes, I'm saying him because he's the one in charge of these decisions. D-line depth, I was saying since free agency, before free agency, that we needed to sign you know, some depth at the edge position. And this is when I thought Chase Young was going to be ready for week 1. And I said we needed to get some depth at the interior D-line position. What did we do? Nothing. We did, you know, we lost Ioannidis and Settle. We also, you know, we drafted Frusturating Mathis, but that's only 3. Like, you got Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Mathis. Like, that's, you know, those are basically 3 starters, because Mathis was probably going to play 60-70% of the snaps. So you needed some depth behind that. They don't really have it. They have guys that are, you know, tweeners, you know, D tackles to edge rushers, no real true D tackles. And of course, Ron Rivera, like, after the game, is complaining. He's concerned about the depth on the defensive line. Well, maybe you should have addressed it before the start of the season. You had a lot of opportunities, some good players, Akeem Hicks, you know, Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh, Melvin Ingram. All those guys could really help, or could have really helped the Commanders, and a lot of those guys are gone. And you could say the same thing at the linebacker position. A lot of players available, you know, at the linebacker position that they could have gotten to help Alexander Johnson, Blake Martinez, or if you're not looking for a bigger name guy, why not get a Carolina Panther guy like AJ Klein, who knows the system, who's much better than Dave Mayo, who played a lot of snaps this game. So that's one of my frustrations with him. You look at, you know, even the corners, like, you got no one there beside, you know, at the depth, you know, you have no depth at corner either. Didn't do anything to address it, and it was obvious. And now, like, every single position before the start of the season, they're one injury away from disaster. And basically, that already happened at D tackle, where now you have no depth at D tackle. If it happens at linebacker, I mean, the linebacker play is already bad, but then you're going to go to David Mayo playing 100% of the snaps. Same thing with the corners. You're going to be playing, you know, you're one injury away from starting Tariq Castro Fields, and that's not something you want to do. So, like, it was obvious all off season, and he didn't do anything about it. Another thing is the slow starts that his teams tend to, you know, get on. You know, his first year here, they were, I think, 2-7 or 1-7. Last year, they had a bad record as well, and it's just like, come on. And it takes them, Jack Del Rio, even Scott Turner, a long time to make adjustments. Like, we all knew Landon Collins should have been playing linebacker for a while, and, you know, it took them 4 or 5 weeks into the season to realize that, and they lost a lot of games because of Landon, and because Landon was taking Cam Curl's snaps at safety, and that really hurt them, and they just continue to do that. And yeah, it was obvious that a change needed to be made, and they didn't do it. Same thing with some, you know, Kendall Fuller playing the slot to the outside. A lot of fans were clamoring for that. And there's some other things as well. Also, like, they get off to terrible starts in the games, as like in the actual games as well. They're almost always getting blown out at halftime or losing by 10, 13. And they, the first season Rivera was here, they were 32nd in the NFL in the first half and first in the second half. I think it was something like that. They were so good in the second half, but they were so bad in the first half, and that's continued. Last year it was a trend as well, and this year the first game not so much, but last game 22-0 at halftime, and they come back and get it somewhat close by the end of the game. That's just something that Rivera that's on the coordinators too. They continue to do that, and it's really, really frustrating. Ron Rivera also makes some questionable decisions. The 2-point conversion in the last game, I'm not too afraid of that, upset about that. If you look at the analytics, it's not a terrible decision, but like the decision to go for 2 in the Giants game a couple years, or in his first year here, I thought that was awful. The Giants weren't driving on us. I think if we would have went to overtime, we would have 100% won that game, and that would have been a huge win for the Commanders that game. And then also, like, this game, there was like no sense of urgency by the offense. They were not even no huddling. They were just walking to the line of scrimmage at the end of the game when they, should have been trying to score. Rivera also, I feel like, sometimes doesn't have the best use of timeouts, and same thing with challenges. Like, the challenges, a lot of the times, like, he has no chance of winning, and he challenges it, and then later he could have used that challenge, but he already lost it, and it comes back to bite him, or he loses the timeout just to waste the challenge. So that's something I've noticed with him. And then the drafting, I mean, so far, it's to be determined. We don't know. His first draft, you got Chase Young. We'll see what happens there. But, hindsight's 2020, but Herbert is a beast. And they could have gotten him. But more realistically, would have been Tua. And then, Gibson, kind of a meh pick. He's been good at times, bad at times. And you got Cam Curl in that draft as well. And then, Keith Ishmael, who's been but it's an okay pick in the 5th round. Khaleke Hudson, not a great pick, and Sadiq Charles, not a great pick so far as well. And then last year's draft, you got Jamin Davis. So far has been a total dud, and I think even if he turns out to be solid, it's still gonna be not great for a first round. Maybe for a 3rd round pick, but not for a 1st round pick. And then 2nd round pick, Sam Cosmi's looked good so far. I think that's a good pick. And then the 2 3rd round picks, Diami has not looked good as a 3rd round pick. And then Benjamin St. Juste has been solid, and Bates has been good. So the draft has been kind of, who knows? It's still a lot of, you don't like to, it's hard to judge a draft 1 year after it happens. So still to be determined with the drafting. But he's made some questionable decisions, and I feel like he's just not aggressive enough. And the front office, itself isn't aggressive enough in terms of getting some players that would definitely better the team, because they're scared of, maybe it wouldn't fit the football team in terms of the culture. But sometimes you just got to get the best talent there. So let me know what your guys' frustrations are with Ron Rivera. I still think he's a solid coach, and he's a great culture guy. He's a great leader, but sometimes he definitely makes some questionable decisions. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.